Hey, good morning. It's Monday, October 4th. Thanks so much for being here today as we have video number 1001. Thanks for all the encouragement for video 1000. This is Monday, so we're going to talk about worldview. Worldview is just a simple concept. It doesn't belong in the philosophy class because every one of us has a worldview. And your worldview is simply how you think the world is being run. That can be any number of reasons why you think the world is the way it is. But for a Christian, our worldview is basically an assessment of how is God running and controlling his world. Is he doing a good job or a bad job? If he's doing a good job, if he is being faithful as he says he is, if I can interpret everything through the lens of Scripture, that God is being faithful no matter what, that my circumstances are not something that determines whether God is faithful. But there's also a very basic attitude of spirit that is also essential for us. And that attitude of spirit is contentment. Worldview and contentment go hand in hand. If you think that God is messing up, not doing a good job, or if you think God's not in the picture and random chances doing things, or things are just determined by some sort of outside cosmic force or some outside mechanical force, or by force of human will, then contentment is very hard to achieve unless you control everything. Since we can't control everything, contentment is not going to be in your rearview mirror or your front view mirror or anywhere else. You won't be content. You will be caught up with worry and anxiety or a desire to control so you can make things go your way. See, those worldviews are flawed because they doubt the loving care of God. But if I can embrace the fact that I can look at everything around me and know that God is being faithful to his promise, know that what Jesus Christ did on the cross is not simply to bring me to heaven, but to give me the opportunity to know God now, to embrace him now, to be content now, knowing that if my focus is about bringing honor to God, everything else will fall into place. You see, that's a worldview that will sustain us, that will give us energy, give us the ability to not be thrown back and forth by all the crazy things that happen. If you're going to look at the news, the cable news, what you find on the internet, whatever, if that determines your source of contentment, you're going to be exactly what Paul says, back and forth like a wave, constantly. But if my worldview is based on the realities that God is my shepherd, I have no needs because he's faithful to me. He cares for me. He honors me. That's something that I can have trust in. That allows me to be content. That causes me to be content. So your assessment of how God is running his world has everything to do with your ability to be content. That's why Paul says he has figured out that he can be content in all circumstances because God is in all circumstances. Contentment, worldview, they are locked together. And I pray this day that we will embrace contentment and we can be people who are content and not driven by anxiety and fear. Let your worldview, let the faithfulness of God cause you to be shaped by contentment rather than to be shaped by all the unevenness that's around you. And that's the thought for this Monday. Worldview and contentment. If your worldview is centered on the faithfulness of God, then you can be content, you can know contentment, and you can know peace, even if everything around you appears to be a giant mess, which it often is. So Again, thanks so much for being here. Please check us out at everydaytalk247.com. There's opportunity to support what we're doing there. Thank you so much for all your care and comments. Thank you for your wonderful, kind comments over the weekend. And if you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing that. Just turn on post notifications. Videos will come right to you. Again, great to be with you today. Be content because your God is a faithful God. See you tonight, Lord willing. Bye-bye.